Using the data that we had previously imported in the previous video, let's now look at making a chart with that data and actually looking at it. The charts menu that shows up below this icon can be used with a right click to make either a new line chart or a new scatter chart. So let's start with a line chart. And you can now switch back between the menus that we had before, such as the imported channels and the charts, by clicking on these icons. Double clicking on this new chart opens it up in the results window. And now we can still switch back and forth in this tree. So when we look at the channels that we've imported, the chart window stays up. And we can do this for multiple chart windows, for multiple analysis results windows as well. Let's say we wanted to look at some data from a cooling tower that's part of this data set. And we obviously have to find where that data is first. There's a long list here. The UT3 has an improved way of doing that in comparison to the UT2. We can simply type a piece of text here and it'll automatically select those trends, or those channels rather, that match that name. So since I've got the line chart open here, I'm going to simply take some of these and drag and drop them over, and it'll automatically graph them. I'll start with, here is tower water return temperature, tower water set point, and tower water supply temperature. So I'll just take these. You can drag and drop them in here, or I can take multiples, shift select, and drag and drop them. So you can see we have the return temperature in blue here, then the set point in red, and the supply temperature in light blue. Looking at this chart window, and I'll make it a little larger, we can zoom in using the zoom icon at the top there. The zoom window actually is a little bit unlike most normal Windows or Macintosh zoom windows in that it doesn't take a starting point and window from there, but it takes a center point. So if I wanted to look at this area right here, I would click in the center and then drag out. It takes a little bit of getting used to in the beginning, but you will get used to it. Once you have a certain viewpoint established, I can use the arrow keys, so I can arrow up and down, and I can arrow left and right to scroll through the data. Or I can use scroll bars to look at the data when I'm zoomed in. And I can zoom back out by clicking the zoom button again, and now I'm back out to the full level. Another feature of the UT that is much improved over the UT2 is the speed at which it can resample. In fact, there are no such things as tests anymore for graphing data. You simply graph the channels that you want to see, and looking at the original data source over here, the channel, will show you a time interval. This is the current sampling time interval that the UT uses. I can change that on the fly and it'll immediately resample the data. The original interval here is 15 minutes. I can change that to an hour and 15 minutes and hit return, and you'll immediately see the window here updated. It does that for the entire data set. So not just for what I'm displaying on the screen, but for everything in the folder that I'm looking at. I can change this, for instance, to 5 minutes. Takes a few seconds, and then the entire data set, which is about 8 months worth of data for 240 channels, has been resampled.